Tom Bower is an investigative journalist and author who became beloved in our royal watching community after the release of his book Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors in July of 2022. An instant number one international bestseller, his explosive tell-all reportedly made the Duchess of Sussex nervous after promising to reveal the inside story of Meghan Markle's journey from minor actress to the woman powerful enough to fracture the British royal family. Now, Bower is taking on the Beckham family in the House of Beckham, Money, Sex, and Power. In part one of our Tom Bower interview, we wanted to discuss the differences and similarities in the world famous couples and former friends. Take a look. Victoria seems like a much more critical and better judge of character. At what point do you think Victoria saw the Sussexes as a liability to the Beckham brand?
Well, I think it's mixed. I think that once she saw Meghan when she came to London in 2016, 2018, and she reached out to Victoria to get freebies, Victoria was happy to see her clothes on Meghan. Very good-looking woman, a duchess. Whatever Meghan was wearing would be an instant sellout. But Meghan had her own way of dealing with people who were trying to use her. She wanted not only freebies, but wanted some sort of payment too, which wasn't allowed under the rules of the royal palace. So that stung Meghan. I think Meghan then got worried, as I tell in the book, about when David was asked by Harry to come to Sydney, Australia, to help launch the Invictus Games, the competition for disabled servicemen. And Beckham went to Sydney, flew all the way across the world with Victoria, and got to the stadium only to find that he was snubbed by Harry. He was ignored, and as my book reveals, that was because Meghan had decided she didn't want Victoria and David to have the publicity while she was in Australia. She wanted to dominate the newspaper headlines and not let them intrude. So I think there's a lot of jealousy there. And Meghan, in the end, was very ungrateful because she had been using the Beckham's home in Los Angeles, I think it's Beverly Hills somewhere, when she did her private trips to LA to see her mother and see some friends there. And she never publicly acknowledged that debt. So it's a very tumultuous relationship. Both wanted something from each other, and it seemed to have become a one-way street at one time.
All right, Patriots, let's start with what might be the truest statement ever made about Harry and Meghan. They are, as Tom Bower says, victims of their own stupidity. They had everything: royal status, global influence, the ability to do real good in the world. They threw it all away, first attacking the royal family, then playing the victim in the media, and now watching their credibility crumble. And why? Because they overplayed their hand. Harry and Meghan thought they could cash in on royal drama forever, but now even their former supporters are sick of them. And let's be honest, Meghan is the mastermind behind this downfall. She's used and discarded everyone in her path, from the royal family to Hollywood's biggest names. And that leads us to the next big revelation in this interview: how Meghan and Harry ruined their relationship with David and Victoria Beckham. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry had the ultimate A-list friendship: David and Victoria Beckham. And what did they do? They destroyed it. Meghan sought out Victoria Beckham when she first moved to the UK. She wanted free designer clothes, because, of course, Meghan doesn't want to pay for anything herself. At first, Victoria Beckham helped her because she saw Meghan as a great promotional tool. But here's where it gets nasty. Meghan and Harry cut off the Beckhams for no reason, except for Meghan's jealousy. Tom Bower reveals that when Harry invited David Beckham to the Invictus Games in Australia, Meghan felt threatened. She was afraid the Beckhams would steal the spotlight, so she made sure they were pushed aside.
That is so true. I mean, I took away two things from what you just said. A, we only acknowledge Tyler Perry. We'll acknowledge Tyler Perry's house, we'll acknowledge Tyler Perry's private jet, but we're not going to acknowledge the Beckhams, which seems kind of cruel. And then additionally, Victoria might have met her match when it comes to jealousy, because Meghan Markle is, clearly a very jealous individual as well. The Beckhams are so strategic and controlling when it comes to media attention. What could the Sussexes learn from the Beckhams when it comes to how they manage to manipulate the media?
Well, I think that the Sussex have tried to manipulate the media. I think the original Netflix interview with, or the one originally with Oprah Winfrey, was a huge attempt to manipulate the media. The misfortune was that Meghan said 17 things in that interview which were starkly untrue, whereas the Beckhams are far too clever to ever put on a video uh, series that they've done anything which is ostensibly clearly untrue or will be seized on, although many of the things in the Netflix series about the Beckhams were absolutely untrue. But they got away with it. I mean, I list them in the book, but there's a sort of sympathy towards the Beckhams in the British media because of the Beckhams' brilliant manipulation of the media, that they're allowed to get away with it, whereas the Sussexes, Meghan has behaved so badly, Harry has been so disloyal to his family, that they start from such a advantage, the Sussexes, that they can't actually recover any sympathy from the public because of the way they treated the Queen, the King, and the general public, who were initially so supportive of them.
Right. I just imagine David Beckham standing in that queue for 11 hours when you talk about that. There is something, the queue to see the Queen, pay his respects to the Queen, the late Queen Elizabeth. There is something that is so much more authentic and sincere about David Beckham, and he seems to know when to lean into stories that Prince Harry is just oblivious to.
Well, absolutely. But of course, the queuing to see the Queen, last respects to the Queen, was very carefully contrived by his media advisors. And isn't it funny how the media got a tip-off just 2 hours after he joined the queue? So I think that I'm sure it was sincere. He certainly is a monarchist, and it worked brilliantly for him. I think the trouble with Harry and Meghan, that their loyalty and their sort of is just so phony. Nobody believes that they have respect for the Queen after the way they treated the Queen. Nobody believes when Harry dashed to London to see his sick father that he really wanted to commiserate after the way he treated his father, and more importantly his brother and Princess Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge. I mean, that was terrible, the way they treated Kate and lied about her. And so I think, it's just, they started off brilliantly, the Sussexes, and threw it away. The genius of the Beckhams is that for 25 years they've sustained the fiction, the image and the brand. And the Sussexes would love to have emulated the Beckhams, but I think it's too late for that for them.
She uses people when they're useful. Then she discards them the moment they become competition. And here's the worst part. Meghan happily bragged about staying at Tyler Perry's mansion, but she never once acknowledged that she also used the Beckhams' home in Los Angeles. That's called ungratefulness, folks. And that's why no one trusts Meghan anymore. This is one of the most important points that Tom Bower makes in this interview. Meghan has a pattern of using people and then tossing them aside like trash. Let's look at the long list of people Meghan has cut off. Her own father, Thomas Markle, a man who supported her career for years. Her former best friend, Jessica Mulroney, dropped the moment she became problematic for Meghan's brand. The royal family, including the Queen, Prince Charles and even Prince William and Kate. No. The Beckhams. This is what Meghan does. She sucks people in, uses them for what she needs, and then drops them the moment she thinks they might be competition.
Amen. All right, you talked about Prince Harry and Meghan lying about the Princess of Wales, Catherine. Now, ITV has announced that Prince Harry has taken part in a documentary about phone hacking. I'm just curious to know, is violating someone else's privacy really the hill Prince Harry wants to die on? I mean, has he read the pages of Spare? Has he read Omid Scobie's Endgame? It does feel like the royal family has had their privacy violated immensely over the last 4 years, specifically by the Sussexes.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, the hypocrisy is phenomenal, but intelligence is not one of Harry's greatest assets. He's very clever at being unable to understand his own shortcomings and the contradictions in his own posture. It is extraordinary that he's agreed to do that, if it actually does happen. because it puts a further rift between him and Britain and between him and the royal family. But, you know, he's a damaged young man, and he's living with a woman who hates the media because they don't do what she wants, who's totally failed to manipulate the media in the same way the Beckhams have. And so he's angry. Harry is angry, and he has become a tool of a group of anti-media lawyers and other agitators in London who want to destroy the media here because it's profitable for them. And he can't see a way out of it for the simple reason he has no purpose in life anymore, Harry. He had a purpose when he lived in London and was a member of the royal family, but there he is on the West Coast. He can go paddling, he can sit in his garden and smoke, but what else has he got to do? So the chance of attacking the media, which has not bought his ridiculous fictions, both in his own book and in Omar Scobie's book, appeals to him. It gives him some purpose in life. And you know, it all boils down to his complete misunderstanding of his mother's relationship with the media, his ridiculous assertions and allegations that it was the media that murdered his mother, which is completely ridiculous. His mother manipulated the media as well as the Beckhams do, probably even better, and played with the media. But he doesn't understand that because he just doesn't have the intelligence to understand so much in his own life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it boils down to that anger, so he's stuck in a place. Do you think that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle regret the way that they treated the Beckhams? Do you think that they look at what's taken place and think, oh, it would be nice to have them on our side?
And folks, this isn't just about pettiness, it's about power. Meghan doesn't just want status, she wants to control everyone around her. That's why she forced Harry to leave his family. That's why she keeps playing the victim. That's why she burns every bridge she crosses. But guess what? People are finally catching on. Hollywood is turning against them, and Meghan's time at the top is running out. Harry and Meghan's downfall is their own fault. They played the victim card one too many times, and now even their supporters are abandoning them. Meghan destroyed her friendship with the Beckhams out of pure jealousy. She used Victoria for fashion connections and David for royal PR, and then cut them off when they became competition.
Yes, I do think that, and I think that they made a terrible mistake. But that is the nature of the Sussexes. They are victims of their own stupidity and follies. They keep on irritating people and keep on annoying people and lose friends very quickly. And so that huge well of sympathy, which undoubtedly was there when they arrived in Hollywood, has evaporated, as it evaporated in Britain too. I mean, the Beckhams are a brilliant lesson in how to create and sustain a brand and how to bury the reality and create fiction and image until my book comes along and shows the truth.
Would you ever consider a book about the Kardashians? Because they're the only other entity that I can think of that has done such a strong job of building a brand not based on reality and, just shamelessly pushing through despite us knowing that things aren't always perfect. They just continue to push out the Hulu content.
It is an amazing story. Actually, you're right. I might. It's not a bad idea. It's a good idea. They are phenomenal. They are the trailblazers of creating genius from nothing, the genius of creating brilliance from just an image and manipulating of the media. And there's no doubt there's in my book a lunch between Victoria and Kim Kardashian somewhere in LA, where clearly Victoria is asking for advice on what to do and gets it and ups her game as a result of it.
Meghan has a long history of using and discarding people. Whether it's her own family, the royal family, or Hollywood elites, no one is safe from her ambition. The world is waking up to their act. The media, Hollywood, and even the public are moving on, because no one likes a professional victim. And patriots, that is why Meghan Markle's empire is crumbling. She built it on lies, manipulation, and arrogance, and now it's all coming back to bite her. What do you think, patriots? Did Meghan destroy her own career with her arrogance? Will she ever stop burning bridges, or is it too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.